Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shabbat Giving all praises to Yahweh Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, They Shall Hate the Whore and Understanding Revelation 13 and verse 18. Because I did a video last night. It was like a response to a recent video that Bishop Nathaniel did, and he was going into Revelation chapter 13. And I did a video even before that, excuse me. Forgive me. Yeah, in the last video that he did, like that I did on his, based upon his video, was he had went to the 18 verse. You know, he had went through pretty much coming against what we're saying, define the words of the apostles. He had anytime we made a video on the MOTB, he would make a counter, and General Yohana did the same thing. Pretty much, we're talking about almost 10 years ago, you know, back in 2014, maybe as far back as 2010. But so I mean, when you go back 10 years ago, you had little videos on the subject, but now it's overwhelming. You know, you can clearly see, and even Edomites can see it. You know, the children of this world are wiser than their generation and the children of light. The children of light are the Israelites, starting with the elect. The children of this world represent, you know, Esau and the other nations. So you have Edomites can see that. But so like I said, we've been going back and forth, and he never touched Revelation 13 verse 17. He never touched the 17 verse. He'll play with the 15 verse and the 16 verse, but he would never touch the 17 verse. And this last video that he did, he went into the 17 verse and the 18 verse, which, you know, went against what he said years ago, that it's not talking about people getting the mark, but it's talking about countries and corporations getting the mark. It has nothing to do with people. That's why he would not go to the 17 verse and the 18 verse, because it says, and no man can buy or sell. And then he said you can't buy and sell with an RFID, you know, which stands for radio frequency identification. You know, where can I find my dog? And a woman says, my dog has an RFID. Because that's what they did. That was the experiment they gave with the dogs and cats. And the next thing is, you know, children, you know, grown people and children. The first official family that received it was a husband and wife and a son. I believe that there were small hats out of Florida, Boca Raton, Florida, named, I believe it's either the Jacob family or Jacobson family. And they said, we'll take the charagma. You can look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Be like the Church of Berea. And they took it, and like I said, they were small hat people, and they decided to take it, and it was on the news, and it was a big thing, and that was back in 2002. So we're talking 20 years ago. So if you're asking how does it work on actual people, you try it on dogs and cats. Well, that, and I believe there were other people that got it, but they were the first. They publicized it. They were on the national news, television stations, and so forth. Now the son died in a motorcycle accident. This was, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. But when he got the C hip, he was I guess he was maybe 8, 9, 10, something like that. And but he had died at the age of 18, I believe it was, in a motorcycle accident. So I don't know what's up with the father and the mother, the parents. I guess they're still alive. So experiments, you find out what happens in 6 months, 2 weeks, 10 years. So we're talking 20 years. If they're still alive, that means, that's good for them. But anyway, coming back to me doing the video, it's always us going against them, GMS going against IUIC and ISUPK. And I really can't tell you why they teach that, other than the fact that they took a bag, or the Most High just blinded them. I believe they took a bag, they've been compromised. So Bishop Nate eventually ventured out and said, I'm going to go on the 17th, boldly go on the 17th verse and the 18th verse. And he completely botched really the 18th verse. And you saw the video that I did. I showed like the last 30 seconds of him saying that. And I said, what? Are you crazy? He was dead wrong. So I'm going to go into that. But before I go into that, I wanted to let you hear this. Give me a second. This is from GMS Inspiration and Motivation, out of the GMS West, West Coast, LA area. Something special to share. LW, it's a faith booster. So this is him talking about his children, how he taught his children to salute him, every morning. And he would ask them, do you have any dreams? So they said, no, we didn't have any dreams. And then his young son had a dream. And to this point, I'm at this point right here. I didn't even listen to the rest of the video, but it's dealing with a chariot. And we see chariots all the time. When we out there, where we speak at, we be out there speaking. There's chariots all the time, man. So like when brothers say there's another chariot, I said, okay, yeah, all right, good. No big deal, because we see them all the time. And they're all over the place. Even media, the mainstream media is getting involved in it. The government, I'm talking about the military, Air Force, NASA. They know they have more footage than you've seen with your own naked eyes, so they know. But they have yet to encounter who operates these chariots. And they go into the scriptures, and they know that the angels come down in chariots. That's in Ezekiel chapter 1. Even this individual wrote a book. I did a video on it. It sounded like a German or so-called a small hat, but he was a scientist, and he wanted to disprove that angels fly around in UFOs. When I say UFOs, anything that's up in the air flying that you can't put a name on it. That's the term anomaly. No, there's what you can't name it. What is it? What is it? We know that there's something in it. That's why it's unidentifiable flying objects. There's something up there flying in the air. It looks metallic. It looks amber. It looks green. It changes shapes. So that would be considered, like I said, an anomaly. You can't put a name on it. So anyway, let me show you let me let you listen to this video. And his son has a dream of a chariot. Like I said, I hadn't listened to the rest of it, but it was like getting built up. So I'm right here at the 2 minute 11 second mark of almost an 8 minute video. So let's listen. I hope you can hear it clearly.
All of a sudden, a chariot came down fast. And I wanted to say this too before I continue on further. My son told me too that he had seen a chariot yesterday. I left that out, but I just want to add that before I tell the story. So he seen a chariot yesterday, and he had the dream this last night. But he said he was in the garage. He was in the garage, and he seen the chariot come down fast. But it was dark. It was dark, but he could see the chariot. It had like a mirror reflection of like a maybe like an obsidian stone. So when he said it was dark though, but he could see the chariot, and it came down, and he went to the backyard. He went to the backyard, and he said Yahweh Shai came down from the chariot. You know, whether it was Yahweh Shai or whether it was an angel, that's to be that's neither here nor there. Nonetheless, an entity came down. He said it was Yahweh Shai, but you know, he said Yahweh Shai came down. He said he could look at him. He seen his face. He was looking at him, and what he did was he said Yahweh Shai was walking in the house, and before he walked in the house, there's I have a backyard light, you know, like a backyard porch light. He said before he walked in the house, he unscrewed the light bulb. You know, he said I asked him, was the light bulb on? He said, yeah, the light bulb was on. And he unscrewed the light bulb, and then he walked in the house. And then he said he could see him. He said he had his favorite garment on. It was green and purple. He said he could see his face. And I asked him how tall he was. He said he was taller than you, Dad. He said his garment, and he said his garment was long. It went all the way down to his feet. You know? And he said he walked in the house, and he started to talk to us, and he can't remember no more of the dream. And this is a short dream, but man, when I heard it, I was like, man, I just thank Yahweh Shemel Shai, because one of the things that I'm very careful of, or one of the things I desire is that I hope Yahweh Shemel Shai is with me and my family. You know what I mean? Especially seeing how we really don't got no power because of the curses. Esau has the power. And this guy is gonna come after our children. He's finna try to destroy everybody's families, man. It's Edomite. So when I heard that, I instantly was like, man, thank you, Yahweh Shemel Shai, because it just let me know the Lord is with me in my house. And that, not just me, brothers, but y'all too. You brethren out there. Especially the Lord giving you children and stuff. The Lord is with you and your children. Right? He's in your house. He's with you inside your house. If Yahweh Shai was a traveler and he had nowhere to stay that night, and you on the street, you invited Yahweh Shai in the house, and he came to dwell with you for that night. He's in your house like that. And my son, when I was like, damn, he took the light. Well, Yahweh Shai is the light according to John, the 14th chapter. Okay? Yahweh Shai is the light. That's why he unscrewed the light that was on the backyard light porch. He unscrewed it and walked in the house. It was a form of saying, I am the light. And the light is in this house. You know? So I thank y'all about Shemel Shai for that. Hey, I thank y'all about Shemel Shai for giving my son that. It's just like it's a very good feeling, man. You know? Because as the scripture tell you in Deuteronomy the 6th chapter, it's a commandment to teach your children. And you start seeing the Lord give your children dreams, and you start seeing the things you taught your children, you start seeing it come out of them in certain little things. And it's like, man, it's a real pleasant thing to watch. It's a real pleasant thing. So I just pray that y'all about Shai keep the light in the house. And brethren, that was for me to share for y'all brothers that, especially the brothers with kids, but also you brethren that don't have kids. The light, the Lord is with you, and the light is in your house. Continue to do that which is right in the spirit of y'all about Shai, and the Lord will be with you and your children, and you're going to, Lord willing, you're going to deliver us in our households, man. You know? And for you brethren out there, remember that before it's your house, when your children and everything at, the light is within you, your body, that house. All praise to y'all about Shai. Just wanted to share that real quick. Hopefully that was a faith booster for you, brethren. Hey, y'all about Shai, rock a thumb, stay strong. Shalom.
I hope you heard that clearly. If not, you can go to the video and you should subscribe to this video and be edified. So now let me come over here. Okay, this video, I subscribe to this YouTube page, Deepen Moments, which is it's a very good, this is a very good channel. Okay, this particular one is there must be a price to pay. 30 countries around the world grill the US at the WTO, World Trade Organization meeting. So you watch this video, 10 minutes, not even 11 minutes long. And basically these European, mainly they mention the EU nations. They're because of the situation with Russia, the Russian-Ukraine conflict, which goes back to, it didn't start back in February. It started way back. This goes way back to 2014 that they left out of the news. So they decided to put it in the news. They were going back and forth since 2014 with the Crimea situation. Basically what's happening is the Most High is putting hooks in the jaw of Putin to bring the assembly of great nations together. Because the USSR stands for, what is it, United Socialist Soviet Republics, meaning there's the Russia is broken up into provinces or states, just like America is. So, you know, the US started with 13 provinces or colonies. And colonies mean you took over somebody. That's simply what it means. When you colonize something, that's a fancy way of saying you took their land. You either killed them off, took their land, put them in slavery, taxed them. That's what the Romans did. Remember it says stomp the residue. That's what is that? Daniel 7, stomp the residue. Talking about the Roman Empire, the beast that was different from the rest, represent the Roman Empire. And any Christian real scholar, not no fake scholar like Vocab Malone, a real scholar, Christian scholar would tell you that it's the Roman Empire. They said and stomp the feet. And what is this? Stomp the feet or something like that. Matter of fact, let me go to that so I can say it right. The most important part of the scriptures is coming to pass, which is the prophecies. Daniel 7. Okay, this is it. Daniel 7:7. And after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. They use iron, and all these nations use iron to make swords and to make shields and helmets and stuff. But Rome used it more than any of these nations to make this, because they had more swords, they had more shields and helmets and like shoulder what you wore on your shoulder to protect you. In war, they use iron, right? So that's what it means by iron teeth. And the teeth represent the swords they had, the swords, the arrows. It devoured and break in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. What does that mean? They set up provinces. That's what that means. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. So this is what I'm gonna do real quick. We know this, but I'm just going through it again. Let me go to just to see what the Christian scholars say. Because they'll say, oh, the Israelites, you just made that up. Okay, all right, let's see. We'll see if I made it up. Okay, Benson commentary, Daniel 7:7, behold, the fourth beast, or the fourth kingdom can be no other than the Roman Empire. Remains of the former kingdom and all nations subject to it. It reduced Macedon into a Roman province. Macedon is in, the Greek, Asia Minor. Alexander's father, Philip of Macedon, came out of Macedonia, which was a capital of the Greek Empire, which became a province of Rome. There it goes again, to devour the whole earth, the known earth, to tread it down, break it into provinces, break it in pieces, and become in a manner what the Roman writers delighted to call it, the empire of the what? Of the whole world. So there you go. So we ain't making this up. I don't gotta read no more. Let's come back over here. So yeah, watch this video, and the Spirit's gonna lead you to a lot of precepts. Daniel 7, Revelation 13. Many different prophetic scriptures, and especially Revelation 17, and started the 12th verse where it says, "They shall hate the whore and shall eat of flesh as it were." Matter of fact, let me get that. Let me get that so I can read it right. Revelation 17. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no king. Now, this is the revised Roman Empire that's spoken of in Revelation 13. As yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. 1 hour with the Most High is about 42 years. So you go back to the birth of the EU. The birth of the EU was based upon a meeting called that was called a gathering called the Club of Rome. So it was a gathering of Edomites called the Club of Rome that set up and established the EU. So that there goes Rome all over again. Rome is even mentioned there. These having one mind and shall give their power and strength to the beast. The beast represents these European nations. Now, Bishop Nate said, beast meaning man. No. Beast meaning this, you got to go into it. You got to snap it. You got to break it down right. When it said the beast, is talking about this current system, the NATO and EU system, which includes Canada and America, which are all Edomite nations. There's a reason why Arab nations are not a part of NATO. There's a reason why African nations are not a part of NATO. There's a reason why China is not a part of NATO. And that's a racist organization because the only people that are involved in that organization are Edomite nations. These shall make war with the Lamb. That's Second Ezra 13 chapter. And the Lamb, which is Yahushai, shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. They that are with him is who? Is us. Is the angels coming with him and us getting delivered out of here. Because it said we were called and chosen, meaning became the elect, and what? And faithful. We're faith-based group. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, this is America right here. The who sitteth, the who is America. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate, make her desert. So they're going to shoot missiles as well, and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the word of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Meaning these prophecies. So this is yet to come to pass. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Because it was the U.S. that brought sanctions against Russia because of the attack on the declaration of war on the Ukraine. So what they did was they said, we're going to set up sanctions against US, the former USSR, and the U.S. is the unofficial head of NATO and the EU. They're not the head; they're supposed to all be equal, but the U.S. is the unofficial head of the EU, and they know that. So they followed suit with the U.S. So they said, "Yep, we're going to bring sanctions. We're following the lead of the U.S." But you know what's happening? They're suffering for it because Europe, where do they get their oil from? The gas from? They get it from Russia. So when they set them sanctions, that's really hurting them. And they're in the winter right now. So a lot of them are going to freeze to death. And not just the oil, other things, because you got to understand that Ukraine, Russia, and this is the reason why another reason why Russia wants the Ukraine. They don't know that they're in the scriptures. They don't understand that they're fulfilling the scriptures. They don't know that they're Gog and Magog. Well, they might know. They might have an idea, but it's the Most High that's orchestrating this whole thing. So there's two reasons why Russia, took down Crimea and is about to completely take the Ukraine over. That's why, it's all pretty much this war is already here. First of all, America and Russia and the European Union, the NATO nations, they're already at war with the U.S. because they're supplying the Ukraine with weapons. You got two rival gangs. Let's say the Bloods and the Crips, they're fighting, right? And one group is beating the other group because they have more firepower. But then they're saying, well, where do they get all these weapons from, man? They getting Uzis, they getting AKs. They on a higher level. We just got 9s, Desert Eagles. So they find out it might be a small hat named Epstein, or it could be an Italian. I mean, it could be an Arab. And then what you find out is, gang A that got more firepower than us is getting supplied by this Arab guy because he wants to get rid of us. So who's the real enemy? The Arab guy or the small hat or the mafioso guy or whatever. Ukrainian mafia, whatever. All nations have mafias, man. Okay. So they say what's keeping the Ukraine in power to this day? What's stopping Russia from totally taking them over? The U.S., the NATO nations, and the EU nations, because they're supplying them with arms and with money. And how much did the U.S. President Biden give? We don't know. It's got to be at least 100 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So, in essence, Russia is really fighting against the U.S. and NATO. But the NATO nations and the EU nations, they're saying, look, we're getting the bad side of the deal, so to speak. So they hate them. But ultimately, it's the Most High putting it in their minds by making these things happen. So this is the Most High is setting up this thing beautifully, man. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Hawashai Ba'Shem Rakah Kwadash. Kal Halalyam La Yahweh Ba'Shem Hawashai Ba'Shem Rakah Kwadash. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Hawashai Ba'Shem Rakah Kwadash. And Dawada La Yahweh Ba'Shem Hawashai for opening our eyes to this truth. And these wacky tacky Christians can't see it. They don't know what's going on. Vocab doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what he's involved in. Vocab Malone has no idea. He's clueless as to what he's involved in. And he's going to fail miserably, excuse me. And the small hats are going to fail miserably. And the leaders of this world are going to fail miserably. And the U.S. will become the biggest desert on the planet Earth. So now let's go over here to Revelation. I don't want to make this long, but Revelation 13. And hopefully Bishop Nate will watch this and then he will get the true understanding and he break it down the right way. Okay, let's come. You know what? I'm gonna jump around. The beast from the sea. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. That's the Roman Empire. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. And that's talking about this system plus other Edomite powers in one, because the leopard is not a part of the beast, the actual beast. In well, it is, but the only one that's not a part of it is Russia, because at that time there was no such thing as Russia. That was no man's land. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Alexander, if you go back to Daniel 7, he was also known as a leopard. So the Greek Empire became a part of what? It was a province, and we just read about Macedon, right? It was a province of the Roman Empire. And the feet were as the feet of a bear. That represents the Russians. Now, the Russians were not a part of the beast, meaning the 7 heads, 10 horns, the 10 crowns upon his head, and so forth. Russia was not a part of it, but they're part of Esau's system because they're all Edomites. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, that represents Great Britain. Out of Great Britain came the U.S., and that's also in Revelation 17. And the 8th that come of the seven, not the 7th, but the 7 by way of London, by way of England. And the dragon, and now the dragon is interchangeable with the word beast. So you could call this the beast, the dragon, You can call the Roman Empire the beast or the dragon, and it represents the leadership that's coming out of London. Gave him his power back in the Roman Empire and his seat and great authority, working through the spiritual demon Satan. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death. What head was that? The Roman power. That's when Jake came in. Another thing that Bishop Nathaniel went off on, he should watch our videos. Like he said, I watch all your videos. He should watch this video. He said it in that video that he did the other day. He said that Jake came in 193 AD with the emperor named Septimius Severus. And that's something that Yeshua used to teach back in the day, back in the 80s and the 90s. No, Jake took over. The last Edomite to sit on to call himself a Roman emperor was Domitian, the son of the youngest son of Vespasian. The next emperor was Nerva. Nerva was a Jake. Hadrian, you got Hadrian. Hadrian was a Jake. Caracalla was a Jake. Commodus was a Jake. Marcus Aurelius was a Jake. So Septimius Severus came on the scene long after Commodus and Marcus Aurelius. He came on the scene in 193. The movie Gladiator was based on what? 180 AD. 180 AD. Who was the emperor? Marcus Aurelius. Who was his son? Commodus. Now he had an older son. I forget the whole, I got to go back into the history. I believe Commodus killed his older brother. Something happened. So he was supposed to sit there, but Commodus came in. Watch the movie Gladiator. And these were Jakes. And if you notice, Marcus Aurelius had a beard, because when Jake came into power, they had beards. Nerva, I don't know if he had a beard, but what happened was Jake started coming up in power, just like they're coming up in power now. You have a lot of top lawyers, you got a lot of top professors, you got a lot of smart, highly educated Jake in society. And why is that? Because a white man said, you are nobody, you are nothing. And Jake went to school and studied and dedicated himself to learning, to becoming doctors and lawyers and this and that and politicians to get approval from the white man. But so now they're saying, fuck you, white man. And that's the same thing that happened over there. But I mean, back then. When you go into the history, it was Alexander Tiberius, Julius Tiberius Alexander. How you put his name? Look him up. That was a Jake. He was a practicing Israelite. He grew up as an Alexandrian Jew, which he was a black man. But he said, "Look, I was circumcised on the 8th day. You know, I did the bar mitzvah and everything else. My parents were Israelites, but we were living in Alexandria, Egypt. But he liked the Roman army, so he said, "Fuck being an Israelite. I want to follow these Edomites." And back then, the apostles didn't call the Romans devils; they just called them enemies. They didn't really identify them as Edomites. So it says, and I saw one of the heads as it was wounded to death. That was really the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire stayed in power. And his deadly wound was healed. How was his deadly wound was healed? Go back to Christopher Columbus, King Ferdinand, Queen Isabella, Torquemada, the Inquisition. So you got to go back into that history. The Inquisition was all about converting everybody to their form of Christianity. Like if you practiced Judaism, the law, statutes, and commandments, they caught you, they would kill you, they would torture you, or they would kill you. You had to be a Christian. If you was a Muslim, You can't practice Islam anymore. They torture you and or kill you. Now, when you go on deep into the history of Christopher Columbus, his real name was Cristobal Colon, which he was a small hat, a so-called, but he faked it. He was a what they call a crypto Jew. He was dealing with the law, statutes, and commandments, in hiding, but out front he was openly a Christian, and he was not Italian. For you Italians out there, he was a Spaniard. Okay, so now let's jump. Okay, the beast from the earth, 11th verse. And I beheld another beast come out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That's the United States. Roman Empire, you had two parties, just like you got two parties now, Democrat and Republic. Back then, you had plebeians and what is that? Patricians and plebeians. Plebeians represent like the Democrats, which means the people. Patricians go back to the word patriarch, which is the fathers. Like these Democratic, not Democrats, but Republicans, they always mention patriotism, which goes back to Rome. The patricians. So this right here, this beast right here is talking about the U.S. They came up over. They were more stout than their fellows. Daniel 7. That's why to this day they hate them. Europeans hate Europe. White people that come over there, they hate them. They despise them because Daniel 7. They were more stout than their fellow. We're better than you. That he exercised all the power. The first beast is the Roman Empire. This current beast is the U.S., the NATO nations, and the EU nations. So is the beast among us? Yeah. Is it just a man? No. It's a bunch of European nations with leaders, with a military, with an economic system, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. The first beast is not an image of Caesar Borgia. The first beast is the Roman system, meaning we're going to follow the political blueprint of the Romans, which Emperor Caesar, or emperor, he's called emperor. The word emperor means commander in chief. That's what it means. Look it up. It means commander. The president is considered commander in chief, right? You had a Senate back then, you got a Senate today. If you study law, you better know Latin. You better know classic Latin. Science, you go in the medical field, those terms for the most part in the medical field are Latin, or based on Latin words. The English language is based on part of of Latin. The planets are the names of the different planets and so forth. They're based upon Latin. You got Latin written, classic Latin or Latin written on your dollar bill. You got the eagle. They got that from the Romans. So this is Rome. This is the second Roman Empire. Beasts worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. They were able to drop bombs from the sky, because who came up with the plane? It came out of America, Kitty Hawk, Orville and Wilbur Wright, because everybody was trying to make a flying machine, and the two brothers, the Wright brothers, they would get something to go up in the air and it'll crash, and eventually they got something to go up in the air And it kind of stayed up there for maybe, I don't know how long, 5 minutes going to the history. And then we can fly, we can fly. So they had to constantly improve upon it. And now you got the modern plane today where you get on the plane, get 200 people on the plane. They can go from New York to California in 5 hours, however long it takes. So you can go anywhere around the world. Then the 12th chapter, go to and fro, and knowledge shall increase through the earth, and knowledge shall increase. Knowledge meaning what? This technology. But where did they get it from? The angel then, the Lord sent the angels to get it put in their mind so they could make it. But they had to do it where it was a gradual thing, because they would have said, no, look, you can't wake up one morning and say, I'm gonna build a plane and it's gonna fly, all of a sudden it's flying. It can go from New York to damn Paris. No, it had to take time, because remember, the Most High's plane is double. And that's another reason why this devil's proud, because he thinks he created all this stuff. You didn't create a damn thing. You were fucking cavemen grunting. How can you go from cavemen grunting to being on this high technical level? Because the Most High put the Spirit, told the angels to get into this guy's mind, work on this guy. I created the smith that blow off the coals in the fire and make it a instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. The waster to destroy are the missiles, but how is he going to do it? He's going to put it in the mind of these Edomites to build it up. Like they didn't figure out a motherfucking thing. Excuse my Swedish. Let me read 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. And that's talking about any medical miracles. When they start pushing that, the Neuralink on people, you're going to have stories on YouTube. This guy couldn't walk for 20 years. And they put the brain chip in him. And now all of a sudden he can walk. So anybody with disabilities, it might be where they put a chip in you, and the kid might be have mental problems, and all of a sudden he's a normal kid. Somebody that can't speak, all of a sudden they can speak. Somebody that can't hear, all of a sudden they can hear. A blind person with that chip can see. So it's going to be that's why it says in the right hand on the forehead. And in order for you to buy, sell, do this, do that, open your car door, open your trunk, open up your house, money's in your chip. If you can't see it, you done sold out. If any Israelite can't see it, they done sold out. It says, of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of men. So what does miracles mean? They're technology. Remember when we was a kid, you had Dick Tracy and he had the watch that was a phone. Guess what? That's old. That shit is old. You can talk to somebody. They showed this in the movie 2001, The Space Odyssey. They showed this guy out in space talking to his daughter, and he's speaking, and you can see the daughter, and the daughter can see him. Well, guess what? You can do that now on your smartphone. You can be talking to somebody in real time. You can see that person's face, and they can see your face. That's a part of the miracles. Their technology, which is based upon the Urim and the Thummim. This PC that I'm working at, this ain't nothing but this is old technology that the Levites had, and the Most High just gave it to the Levite. The Levites priests. He didn't give it to the tribe. Judah couldn't deal with this PC. Judah couldn't deal with the Urim and the Thummim. That was given to Levi. It says, of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image. And it's not talking about a picture Cesar Borgia. Bishop Nate goes to this thing. See, it was Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. Michelangelo was a little bit younger than Leonardo da Vinci. So they accepted the Leonardo da Vinci version of what Jesus looked like. And back in World War II, they used to give it to the soldiers. And if they were scared, they would pull out the picture of Caesar Borgia. And oh my God. No. This image has nothing to do with no motherfucking Caesar Borgia, picture of Caesar Borgia. Because if that was the case, they would have, if you went to get the jump shot, they would have had a picture. Go to the tent, they check you. Oh yeah, you got it. Let me give you the jump shot. And there's a picture of Caesar Borgia. And they'll pull it down and say, "Kiss the picture of Caesar Borgia." Kiss my Converse. Inside joke. Come on, man. Stop it with that fucking fairy tale bullshit, Bishop Nathaniel. We're on a higher level than you when it comes to these breaking down these scriptures. Remember, I taught you everything that you know, not everything that I know. Listen, I had to come in there. You're in a privileged position to learn a thing or two. So keep your mouth shut and your ears open. When it comes to breaking down these prophetic scriptures, GMS is numero uno. And then behind us is Sakari. Sakari's number 2. Sakari's over the IUIC and over the ISUPK when it comes to prophetic information. That they should make an image. The image is what? Of the beast. What's the beast? The beast is the ancient Roman Empire. In other words, we're going to base our system based upon the Roman Empire, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So who had the wound by the sword and did live? Not Caesar Borgia. When he got killed, he stayed dead. He didn't come back to life. It was the ancient Roman Empire. When you go back into the history, the Roman Empire got broken up into 2 kingdoms, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire was ruled by Jake. The Western Roman Empire was ruled by Esau, and Esau died. And the Roman Empire kept going because Jake kept it going. And it eventually became the Byzantine, what they call the Byzantine Empire, which is nothing but an extension of the Roman Empire. And they were Jakes that were ruling. They didn't come into power in 193 AD, Bishop Nathaniel. They came into power. Get your history together, man. Okay? The first Jake that came into power was Nerva. That was around 90-something. I got to go back to it. It was around 90-something AD when John the Apostle was on the Isle of Patmos at that time. Because I believe it was Domitian. You can go and look it up. It was the Domitian that sentenced John to it could either could have been Vespasian. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up to refresh my memory. Let me see how I'm gonna do this. Okay, let me come over here. Who sentenced John to the Isle of Patmos?
According to Grecian, it was used as a place of exile for convicts. This is how Apostle John came to Patmos, exiled by the Roman Emperor Titus Flavius Domitian in 95 AC.
Okay, so let me see something. Right, Titus Flavius Domitius. She said it. Titus Flavius Domitius. Let's do this. Right. 95. It says AC. This will be AD. 95 AC. So that was Domitianus. which is the younger brother of Titus, because he had died. Titus, his brother, he came out of the family, the famous Flavius dynasty. By the way, Flavius Josephus, that was a name that was given to him by the Flavius clan, because Flavius Josephus was a slave under them, and he was his Uncle Tom, but he knew he was an Israelite and he loved his people too. But he was in good with the Flavius dynasty. Like I said, he was a slave unto them, and then they freed him, and he became a historian, or he was always an historian. And a lot of the records you get from Flavius Josephus, he was a news writer. He was right there to witness, eyewitness news. He actually witnessed what the Romans did to the Israelites, but they didn't touch him because he was cool with them. Going to the history. So that was it was used as a place of exile for convicts. This is how Apostle John came to the Patmos, or the Isle of Patmos, exiled by the Roman Empire, Titus Flavius Domitianus, which is Domitian. So now it doesn't say what happened to John after he wrote Revelation. It does say in Revelation 10 that he shall prophesy to kings and nations and tongues. You're going to prophesy again. There's no record of that. There's no record of that. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? And we'll get back to this. This is what I'm going to do. Let me bring this all the way over here. Let me go to Revelation 10, verse 10. Let me show it this way. Okay, Revelation 10. So if you don't go through these prophetic scriptures and scriptures in general over and over again, you forget things. Okay, Revelation 10 and 10. I'm sorry, let's go to 11. Okay, Revelation 10, verse 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many people and nations and tongues and kings. So we know what that's talking about. That proves reincarnation right there, right? Let's go, let me see. Let's go to Cambridge. It's the shortest one. And they said, thou must prophesy again. Some try to make out that there is here a new commission given to the apostle, which is John, and that in the remainder of the book, there are higher mysteries than in the foregoing part. But it is surely simpler to make it as a personal warning to the apostle himself. He was to see the end of all things in visions, but his own earthly work and duties were not at an end. He had already prophesied before many people, past tense, and nations and tongues and kings, whether Nero or Domitian, which sentenced him to the Isle of Patmos, was the last of these, and he would have to do the same again. Well, right there, they're kind of hitting that he's going to have to do it again, but there's no record of that. So what did that mean? What did Revelation 10, verse 11 mean? That means reincarnation. He's going to come back in his next life, which is now, which we strongly believe that's High Priest Ariel. He's famous for going into them breakdowns. So now we're back where we at? Okay, we got that out of the way. So we know what this is talking about. Revelation 13, 15, Revelation 17, and now, and that no man may buy or sell, save he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man. Meaning you have this man's army. It's not no guy named Army. That's him. That's this man. Nope. It's talking about this nation of men. The number of a man, and his number is 600 6. Now, when you go to Revelation 17, right? This is your 666. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. That's the first 6. The mother of harlots, that's the second 6. And abomination of the earth, that's the third 6. When you go to this in the Hebrew, Mystery Babylon the Great in the Hebrew, the mother of harlots in the Hebrew, an abomination of the earth, you take out N. The Hebrew characters are also numeric. So when you add them all together, and I did this 2 different ways. I did it the way High Priest Ariel showed me that I did it my own way. I did it a mistaken way. I kind of changed the formula a little bit. This was years ago, but it still came out to 666. So what is this 666 all about? It's about this system. You have what's called a, let me do this. Let me do this. Universal Commercial Code. That's not what I wanted. I'm sorry. Universal Product Code. That's what I wanted. Look at this. Universal Product Code. There was a system that anything that you buy now, and this been on the scene in the 70s, right? If you look it up. Anyway, if you notice, you can see a series of number. And when you scan it, everything that you buy is scanned now. Everything that you buy is scanned now. When I go to the store, I always look to go to, like if I go to PJ's, I'll always go to the, like I'll say 15 items or less, South scan, whatever. I said, put your card in, put the card in. Okay, start scanning. And I would scan everything and it would give me the price. And if it was the wrong price, you would say, well, wait a minute. On the picture, it's when I got it off the shelf, it said $15.99. Now it's saying $25.99. So what the manager would do is override it and then fix it in the system, right? But that doesn't happen. It's like a perfect automated system. So anytime you scan something, you're scanning this right here. You look for these series of numbers. Now right here, this is elongated. Let's take this away. You know what? Oh, let me see. Any product. Okay, I'm picking up products in front of me, and every product has a universal product code. Oh, and one of them, I wish I can show you this. This is a raw kombucha, right? I'm looking at the product code, and the two, you got 2 long lines. You got a series of longer lines in the front, and then you got 2 long lines in the middle, and then you got a series of 2 long lines at the end. Now at the end, it gives you an actual number, which is 6. You see all these numbers, those two long lines? This right here represents a 6. This represents a 1. This represents a 3. This represents a 5. Look at that. That's a 6. If you see, you see the 6? There's two long lines. This represents a 6. This represents a 6. And this represents a 6. So let's come back over here to, I'm sorry, 13. Let's come back over here to 13, Revelations 13. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So there's going to come a time where you have to receive this charagma, MOTB, in order to scan the items. And then instead of taking out a card, a BJ's card, you're going to take out your right hand and scan it. You're going to scan it, and it's going to have your account, your BJ account, or wherever you go to, supermarket. And then they might say, let's say your name is Mr. Smith. Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Smith. You can start scanning now. You take the items, you scan it, and then you pay by what? You scan your hand again. You scan your, how simple. I got to come down to this level, this romper room level, to make you understand this. It's as plain as the nose on your face. How are you going to pay? Or with your forehead, or what? You got a forehead, you can take the scan and put it in your forehead, like they take the read the temperature in your body. So then you would probably scan it again, and then it'll tell you $56.28 have been deducted from your account, which is in your what? In your right hand, left hand, butt cheek, forehead. This is very simple, man. And that no man might buy or sell, literally means to buy or sell, save he, except he that had, he, meaning the man or the woman or the child, had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for there's a number of a man, meaning Esau, the man, and his number is 600 Now, if you look at certain logos, right? Let me do this. Satanic symbols. Let me hit images. Okay, this is not what I wanted. How can I do this? $666 in symbols. Okay, this right here shows you these people, all these people sold out. All these Jakes here are insiders. Look at this. All of them are insiders. All of them are insiders. They're all insiders. And what does this symbol represent? It really doesn't represent white power. Can you see 6, 6, 6? We call it the devil's number. Insider, look. I'm an insider. I'm an insider, baby. I'm an insider. I'm an insider. I'm an insider. This guy, he's caught up with this whole sex scandal thing, and a lot of these guys that went to court, so I think at least one of them mysteriously died. So that's what that represents. 666 does not represent six angels, six troubles, six trumpets, and six vials. He said that, and that's not even in Revelation. It doesn't mention six. It mentions the six trumpet, I believe, but it doesn't mention six veils or nothing like that. So he just made that up. Here it is again. See, they're showing you. They're not hiding it. They're showing you that symbol right there, the OK symbol. The OK symbol is saying that you're down with the 666. Look at that. Jay, I can hardly see who that is. I believe is that the game? I don't know. That's Beyonce. And when they put it on their eyes, they're telling you that our eyes are open to this. We're conscious that we sold our soul to the devil. All of them. So none of these top entertainers, none of them are gonna make it, and every last one of them are gonna take the charagma. Here's another one. Kanye's an insider. He's controlled our position. Look, Marilyn Monroe. So that thing, this is not nothing new. She was famous in the 50s. Beyonce. Jay-Z. Britney Spears. Lil Wayne. Will Smith. Brad Pitt. Pharrell. B.I.G. They're all even SpongeBob is an insider, man. Look at that, Charlie. I don't know if they put that in there like that. That's what it means. So you should have, broke it down the right way. Let me see here. Look at that. He might still be alive. Look at that. The Pope, an insider. Anyway, brother. Fucking bullshit. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. On to the next one.